Plenty of air on his way down. Karim Amour, who was first in the second round of the French Downhill Championships. The combination of the downhills being very fiercely fought this year by the French. This is the uphill bit of the course before they go through the woods and down some very, very rocky parts of the course where big rocks can cause problems to the bikes. Over the bridge, using a rectangular section, specially designed Peugeot bike for mountain bike downhilling. They're spending a lot of time developing his bike. You see there how he's had difficulty putting his feet back on the pedals. They're using these clipless pedals, and you can't always get your foot down very quickly. Speedway style around the bends, but you've got to slam your foot down on the pedals to get a good grip to accelerate out on this part of the course. The speed of these riders, the average speeds are over 40 kilometers per hour. And at the top part of the course, they're going down at well over 50 kilometers per hour. Over the little two double jumps there, on the bank of the berms, this course specially created for last year's World Downhill Championship when it rained and it was muddy and the conditions were absolutely terrible. Give you some idea, this is only about halfway down the hill of the steepness of the descent, with the riders travelling up on the ski lifts to the very top and then dropping down from the top of the climb right down here. Let's see what he's going to do. Challenging for the French Championships, Karim Amour coming down into the finishing straight. This looks like a better time than his first round. It certainly is. Hits the line in 4:16.76 at the moment, lying first. That's the fastest we got so far, but a lot of good men to come. Do stay with Eurosport. See what happens. That's a special woof there, that special burn, they bent it round for the World Championship over that jump. And again, a nice berm, accelerating out of that one. Barcons Gonzalez, his first drop, 4:22.6. Looking a lot quicker now. That's dangerous. That sharp left-hander before the sweep down through the quarry is causing a lot of trouble with people. There's a bit of adverse camber there. Putting on the power, this is where he has to pedal. Although it's a downhill championship, they have to use big gears as well to really rock it on the riding part of the course. Then hard on the brakes. They've been down this course, they've walked it, they've ridden it, they know where every stone is. Just takes air nicely, clears the middle of those whoops. Barcons Gonzalez approaching the bottom part of the course. Now this is a very tricky one with the flicks in and out. The top part of the course is very fast, very open, and not quite as tricky as the bottom end. And when the riders are tired and you're going in and out the short, sharp bends at the bottom of the course, these is where errors can be made. He's nearly made one! He went right over the edge of the course, drifted on the adverse camber, but he got it back. Flick one way, flick the other. Your hands and your arms have been buffeted despite the suspension system. You've got to keep control of that bike. Point it down the route you want to take. And Barcons Gonzalez then moves into second spot at the moment. Improvement in his time at 4:16 as Tomas Misser comes down next. Tomas Misser, 10th at Capron this year in the World Cup. Went over to America, got 4th place in the Mammoth Mountain World Cup round in America. He started the season in fine style too at Capdale in the World Cup when he finished 10th. So far, Misser in the Grundig World Cup has had a 10th, a 4th and another 10th. This Spanish rider looking very smooth indeed in this the European Downhill Championships. The course so much better than when it was used for the Championships of the World last year when Mike King of Australia won that one. That was wet, miserable and slippy. You can see there he's got a special device on the chain, at the bottom of the chain, to stop it slapping round. So many of these riders just making an extra set of rollers just behind the front chainring to stop the chain slapping up and down. You can't afford to have the chain come off the back gear mechanism due to the bumps as he snakes his bike through here. Let's see that one, takes that nicely, just gets his front wheel down. Too much air and you lose time. We've seen so many show-offs on the course, grabbing lots of air, but when you're in the air, you're not making progress on the ground. A very clean ride, this one. The choice of tyres is so important on these downhill courses. The choice of pressure, very important too. And the choice of suspension settings. If you allow too much movement, some of these suspension settings up to 3 inches, then you can lose power when you're riding on the flatter parts of the course. It's a matter of balance and understanding the course and your bike. And Tomas Misser going through in 4:15.77. At the moment going to first spot, and that's a great improvement. It's something like about 7 seconds faster than his first. Beneke now coming down in full flight. Jurgen Beneke getting his... Oh, he's gone! Beneke, he took 8th place last year in the championships here when he had a problem, and now he's in trouble again. Well, that's his second ride, so the first ride will have to count towards his performance, but it looks like he's knocked himself about a bit now, and Beneke is going to drop out of the top 10 even on his first ride. Great disappointment for Jurgen Beneke, who last year won the World Cup downhill. French cheers all around the course now for Christian Tailleffer. This man has been in mountain bike downhilling for something like the last 3 or 4 years, a very experienced Peugeot rider indeed. 9th in Capron just over a week ago. He took a 2nd place in Hindelang in the World Cup as well. Christian Tailleffer, there are 2 Tailleffer brothers, but Christian is the one that now is the strongest of the 2. Looking to see if he can beat that best time so far of Tomas Misser of 4:15.7. He looks a bit sluggish at the moment. He's also set a downhill record, by the way, on a bike on ice. The great interest going in who can go the greatest speed downhill, but the bike was a very specialist, and he's lost it. Kick back there, that's going to slow him down. For all the cheers, he looks like he's not going to make a great improvement on his first ride. His first ride for 18.1. Most people have gone around about 7 seconds faster on the second ride. Certainly between 5 and 7 seconds at the moment. The clock ticking away. It looks like he's not going to make much improvement on his first ride. This will be disappointment. That slip has cost him his time. So Tailleffer, into 4th place. He won't like that. He lost time. He's only about 1 second faster than his first drop, and you can see now why he lost time. That special single arm at the back of the suspension system was not enough to keep him on track because he put it too far over. Alexandre Balaud next to go. There he goes. Let's see him go up the slope ahead. That's it, on the berm. One of those man-made little flicks that you can get some pressure on and go away, and it's out of the saddle. These sort of BMX style rock riders, many of these downhill riders have come from BMX background. You can see the way they rock the bike and ride it with the hands up on the handlebars, a particular position which they've learned over the years of riding BMX machines, and now into downhill racing. They really have found a new sport. So Balaud, who took an 8th place in Capron in the World Cup downhill race just over a week ago, being cheered on here by the French crowd. And nearly lost it too. That particular corner is catching out a lot of the riders. Balaud then for Sun Chippy, his first ride down the course in 4 minutes 17.9, and it looks like he's going a notch faster now. Misser's the best time to beat so far at 4:15.7. using one of these motocross masks at the front. For if they crash, then it gives them some protection across their face. And we've seen one or two come off on this downhill so far. Special triangulated short piston pumping in a suspension unit on the down tube. Body armour, as you can see, on his elbows, in case he comes off. So many of these riders crashing down here at something like 60 kilometres an hour. You can do yourself a lot of harm. He's grabbing in, coming down in. He's going to look like he's going to go faster than his previous ride. Alexandre Balaud, yes, he's gone into the lead for 15.3. That's only a fraction faster than Tomas Misser, but he now, at the moment, is the leader. Stylish ride by Alexandre Balaud of France. We're going to take a short break. Come back in a moment. On his way down, this very talented Frenchman, at the moment leading on the World Cup. The Grande World Cup really has been his stamping ground this year. He took a first place at the opening race in Capdale. He went on to Hinderlang to take another first place. And just a few days ago in Capron, he took his third victory in the Downhill World Cup. Second place in Canada, but he had mechanical problems in Mammoth Mountain in America. Dropped into 42nd place. He's got trouble now. Francois Gachet. Obviously, this course does not suit him. He finished only 9th in the World Championship here last year. In the World Championship last year, he punctured. He has done the same again. He has punctured his back tyre. Coming down that rocky section, must have hit a rock, split the tyre open, and Francois Gachet, his first time will have to count. Gachet's first time down the mountain was 4 minutes 17.7 seconds. So Gachet, his first ride will have to count, and it won't be fast enough. Everybody in the second round is going that much quicker. Bad luck then for Francois Gachet. And the crowd here, an enormous crowd. There are tens of thousands of people up the circuit. We're looking for this man to challenge for the lead. He was in 4th fastest spot in the first time down the mountain, but unfortunately, Francois Gachet is going to have job getting inside the top 10. Johanson next to go for this man from Sweden, nicknamed Tompa, by the way, 23 years of age, comes from Fallon. He's a pro bike rider by profession. He's been mountain biking since 1989. Lovely shot of this very tricky course. They've come through the woods at the top there, and that's the place that Gachet had his puncture. This fellow here, Tommy Johnson, for 7 years he was a BMX rider. He didn't do any great things there, but it shows his consistency, and it shows now in his riding. On those short, sharp BMX tracks, so many of these riders learnt their skills of instant reaction. When you start off the gate with 8 men in BMX, you've got to be into the first jump, round the first berm. You've got to be very, very sharp indeed, and it's showing in the downhill. And this man then, from Sweden, he's looking good. In fact, he's so smooth and so quick, he's going to challenge for the top at this rate. He was the second fastest on the first drop of the mountain in 4:17.6. And he's going very quickly indeed. A vast improvement on his first time down here. It looks an excellent ride. Second fastest on the first drop. Tommy Johanson from Sweden. Another of those man-made jumps in the background, put in specially for the Championship of the World last year. This course is looking good this year. On the Championship last year, it dried out as the day went on, and the later starters had an advantage, but this has been good all the way through, and looks good for Tommy Johnson coming in here. Yes, he's done it. 4:13.07, that puts him in the lead. A 4-second improvement on his first round. He cannot believe it. Look at his style again. getting the bike right on the limit, using the banks to the maximum, taking air and getting the front wheel down and the back quickly after it. Nearly dropped the back wheel in the dip as the French white hope Nicolas Vouilloz starts off the start house. The man who last year staggered everybody by winning Cap d'Arles, the opening round of the World Cup. There, thumped his bike round, kicked the back wheel away. He squared it up so he could accelerate out of that gap. Tremendous second in Capron he was just over a week ago. See how he goes up this hill, gets himself set up for the next bit of the drop. Fifth in Hinderlang in the World Cup. Could only make third in Cap d'Arles this year at the start. He's only now, what, about 15 years of age. He's a pro bike rider. He's taken time off school to ride a bike professionally. Right on the limit. What talent this man is. Nicolas Vouilloz on the way down. He won the World Championship last year here on the drop in Métabief. So the reigning junior world champion now looking for a European Championship. Can he make it? The best time to beat so far of Tommy Johanson is 4 minutes and 13 seconds. And the crowd are going absolutely mad here for him. On his way down, he's also then the junior European champion from 1993, looking for a place as a senior in the top ranks now. And what a tremendous, great talent we've got here. It makes it look so easy, doesn't it? You've seen the rest of them fighting the bike down, jumping around the corner. He gets the bike down very quickly on the jumps. He doesn't take too much air. He tries to get over the top of the jumps, put the back wheel down, pedal out of it. When you're in the air, you're making no progress. Down he gets on it, sprinting for the finish. 4:13 to beat. Nicolas Vouilloz has done it. A magnificent 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Nearly 6 seconds faster than Tommy Johanson. A 9-second improvement on his first drop down, an average speed of 43.6 kilometers per hour. Just look at that style. See how soon he gets the bike down, puts the pressure on. Well, that one is going to take some beating, and Corrado Hérin of Italy knows what he's got to do. Cranks the bike round the berm. Takes a little air, gets down again. This man, 6th at Capron, 13th when we had the World Cup race in Hinderlang. Went across to Canada and took a 20th place there and a 30th place at Mammoth Mountain. The Corrado Hérin, one of the last riders coming down the mountain now. So as he comes on down the mountain then, can he beat that time? His first drop was 4:14. He was the fastest in qualifying on the first drop. This man was the fastest, Corrado Hérin, in 4 minutes 14 seconds. Nobody could beat him on round one. He's got 4:7 to beat. The French crowd holding their breath. First on the first drop down. And at one time, that first performance, 4:14, looked good enough to take him in to the European Championship, but they've gone faster on the second drop. But he doesn't look like he's going that much quicker at the moment. The 4 minutes and 7 to beat. In fact, he might not even make second spot at the moment. He's not going to make first.